Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode, episode 53 of What's the Buzz? BioBuzz is podcast where we talk to ecosystem builders. So that's the hat you're wearing today, and you probably wear it every day, Amy. But we talk to ecosystem builders, the people that are working tirelessly every day to make sure that the companies, whether life sciences and deep tech and biotech, are set up with the right foundation community to succeed. So today we're talking with Amy Adams, someone I've known for quite a long time, and she's Executive Director for the Institute of Biohealth and Innovation. Amy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to dive in today because you guys have been buzzing down there, and I don't know how your head's not spinning all the things that I see going out. Before we dive in, let me take care of some housekeeping real quick. So this series is sponsored by our really good friends at Heffron and Company. So I don't know if you know Heffron and Company. They are a 104-year-old mechanical contractor and service provider. They've been tied to some of the most iconic buildings in the Biohealth Capital region and beyond. George Washington University Hospital, for instance, the original Human Genome Sciences. So a lot of the ones that they're well known for. But if you drive up and down I-270 and around the Beltway, most of the high-tech hospitals, facilities, biotech facilities, they've had a hand in. So we're grateful for them because they do so much for this community, and just really grateful for the support that they have for BioBuzz and us to share your story with everybody, Amy. So thanks to Heffron. And with that, let's just dive in. Amy, do you mind just starting off? Can you just give us a little introduction, your background, and kind of what you do?
Sure. So I work at George Mason University. Chris, as you mentioned, I'm the Executive Director of the Institute for Biohealth Innovation. So I support life sciences across the university, really making sure to be a connector between our faculty and local businesses, as well as overseeing our core facilities. So we have some really impressive core facilities that aren't just for our university faculty and students, but also available to local industry, government, and other academic partners. Our regional biocontainment lab is one of those. So we have a 52,000 square foot BSL-3, ABSL-3 facility, a Class 1000 clean room and nanofabrication facility, as well as a 3T MRI facility at George Mason, where we're really able to help support the community. And our Center for Applied Proteomics and Molecular Medicine, they have a CAP-CLIA accredited lab, really being able to partner and help businesses to take their products to FDA for 510(k) approval and beyond.
Incredible. I just feel like you mentioned like almost everything most businesses need to launch and come to market in just one sentence, by the way.
You know what? We have such incredible resources at George Mason. I have been there for 24 years. I actually began as a volunteer back in 2002 and have been given amazing opportunities to work in the lab, from doing genomics and proteomics research to precision medicine to building workforce programs, establishing the institute, and most recently launching the Nexus234 Innovation District in collaboration with our partners from Prince William County, City of Manassas, and of course, George Mason being the anchor institution for that.
That's exciting. That's a lot of hats that you have wear, and you probably do wear every day still.
You know, it is, but they are all so connected. And I think that's what's made it so beneficial for Nexus234 is really having that foot in the institution to be able to make sure that I'm making the connections to support our students, connecting to businesses, right? I have that high touch because I'm in the institution day in and day out, being able to help support industry that's looking for that faculty partner with the right expertise or access to a core facility. So it really has been a really nice marriage of both. And, you know, when folks think about an innovation district, really think about Research Triangle Park. They're an amazing, Research Park is one of the second established in the nation in the early 50s. And we've certainly been talking to them as we've established this innovation district. So yeah, it really is a perfect marriage of a whole lot of hats, but I wake up thinking about this, I go to bed thinking about this, and just so excited to be able to deliver it for our community.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I always appreciate about you. for as long as I've known you, like, for those of you who are just meeting today, like, you're very dedicated to the community. I mean, you think about the companies and the students, and like, and almost every hour conversation, it's really about the people you support. So I really appreciate that. And I think when we talk to community builders and we talk to, people, like the people behind these districts are, just as much, if not more important than the districts themselves, because it kind of really pulls it all together.
So true, Chris. And, I would say it's not just me as an ecosystem builder that has that sentiment. We were hosting 10 international companies this week and had an industry panel to talk to those companies to talk about the environment. And Becky Bradford was from ATCC, had mentioned how sticky our area is. Really that it's everybody from the business community to the university to the community colleges are all really committed to making sure that each one succeeds. So I think it creates that environment that's welcoming, right? It makes any business that's here, any student, any worker really feel like a big fish in a small pond, and it's consistent wherever you go.
Well, let's unpack the Innovation District a little bit, because I think that's something that I'm excited to learn more about. So, first of all, Nexus234. So, for those people who are just learning about this for the first time, give us the pitch, give us the elevator pitch, and tell us all, like, what is Nexus234? How do you talk about your Innovation District?
Sure. So Nexus234 is an 6,000 acre innovation district. It's anchored by George Mason SciTech campus, where we actually have a lot of all of the university's biomedical activity happens there. We also have strengths in virtual game design and mechanical engineering, applied information technology. It is in the city of Manassas and Prince William County. And so we have everywhere from global businesses to startups, and the startup space, the incubator, the commercial step-up space, industrial flex, right, to begin manufacturing, and land for companies to be able to grow. So it's amazing to have that whole continuum from the discovery to the scaled and global distribution of products. The sectors in Nexus, so obviously Nectars, I had mentioned the multiple partners that came together for this, from the county, the city, the university, our local businesses, and the community college. So these have been very close partners that have collaborated, inspiring the name Nexus, but it's also the sectors that we support. And so our key strategic sectors in Nexus234 is life sciences and forensic science, aerospace and defense, semiconductors and electronics, and data centers and AI. These were defined by looking at the educational system's strengths in both the curriculum as well as the research strengths of the university, and the existing businesses aligned with where the county and city are looking for economic growth. And so with Nexus234, we are providing the programming to bring everybody together, to learn together. So professionals throughout their career, students, and really to bring those idea generators to develop that next innovation, again, that's going to happen across sectors is where the greatest ideas are going to come.
So Nexus 234 provides the programming. The district itself is made up of all these critical components. Like you mentioned, the university and the startup hub and the expansion space. I want to understand a little bit. You mentioned talking to RTI. Yeah, this is a lot to pull together, right? So, I mean, the resources sound fantastic. You have a soft landing program. You've got a lot there, but what are some of the things when you sat down, whenever this idea first started moving forward, and as you've talked to RTI and others, what are some of those important elements that you've all seen as critical to building a successful innovation district? What are some of those things that you've built into the district and into your programming approach?
Sure. So Research Triangle Park has been an amazing model, and actually our very own Brian Darmati from the Association of University Research Parks him and that organization was really an inspiration for, hey, we have all the ingredients to build this innovation district. I had attended the first meeting at the University of Maryland in 2018. And so have been learning from peers across the United States, Canada, really how, what type of program is really going to move the needle, right, to drive innovation, to make sure that we have a workforce that's ready to enter these industries. And so a few programs that we have, you'd mentioned the International Soft Landing Program. So we launched the Northern Virginia International Soft Landing Accelerator in collaboration with Nowgen. Last fall, we were able to recruit 22 companies from around the world. And we're really delighted this week to host the top 10 in Nexus234. And it was incredible, Chris. The talent, the innovation, the really thought of bringing these incredible therapies and AI for helping, in the surgical room and beyond, to the public was truly inspirational. Incredible leaders that loved Manassas, that really could see the benefit of being in the biohealth capital region, which we're in. And so that's been a terrific program. We look forward to welcoming the top companies. In June, that will be announced, and we will welcome 3 to 5 companies in Nexus234 so that they can really get their start. And it's not just landing, it's making sure that they are connected with our faculty for potential collaboration, with our students for talent. We're collaborating with our Costello College of Business and Mason Enterprise also, which will augment and complement what Nowgen is providing to help with those business services, and our Chamber of Commerce, because we know as companies come in, it's not just the technical skills that they need, it's really making sure that they have access to legal, accounting, and beyond. And so I can't think of a more welcoming community. Other programs that we are offering, we have our Mason Enterprise Tech Mentors, who are leading lunch and learns and offering one-on-one mentor hours for companies. They actually provide it for companies throughout Virginia, but you're actually able to go onto our website, nexus234.org, and schedule an in-person meeting with those individuals who can help with the business needs for tech companies. On the workforce side, really we're talking to companies to understand what are those critical gaps you're seeing in the workforce and delivering programs that meet those needs. And so in January, my colleagues Jenny Espina and Kim Clem, both who have brought CAP-CLIA accredited experience as well as GLP, GMP experience, built a course informed by industry to teach students those essential lab skills and competencies that industry is looking for. And truly phenomenal to see what those students were able to accomplish in a 40-hour, 1-week course. They earned a micro-credential. We've scaled this also with nanofabrication. And so, anything that we can do to make sure that we have students learning and connecting with companies. One last program I will talk about. This week, we got to see our capstone students present. And so oftentimes with engineering capstones, you have 4 to 5 students that are paired with a local industry, solving a problem and developing an innovation. And it's often exclusive to those larger companies that have the funding. And so through Go Virginia, we were able to launch the Innovation District in July of last year and pay for capstone experiences with smaller companies that haven't participated before. And so we had OmniRide, our local transportation company, and Didlake, that are supporting individuals with disabilities, had mentored a couple capstone students, and those projects were phenomenal. I met with the students, and as soon as I met with them, said, you've got to submit an invention disclosure. These are future companies. And this is just an example of a couple companies that they were connected with, but just really incredible what you can do when you pair some students with a lot of grit, with company mentors that are really dedicated. And so that's just a touching the surface of some of the things that we're offering.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, it's really incredible. Workforce, we hear that everywhere it's so important. And those sounds like two like really good workforce programs, like custom built and experiential. You know, I'm curious also, like the other thing that I think stands out is really cool is that you bring these 4 sectors together on one campus. So how do you see that the nexus of those 4 coming together? Like what, do you have any examples of like how you're overlapping AI in life sciences or nanofabrication in life sciences? Like, do you have any examples of how that's being kind of purposefully done?
Absolutely. One example is that we are building sensors in our nanofabrication lab to be able to detect disease, building microfluidics, right, that need that nano component. We have some other really nice examples of that is how we're bringing the community together in one of our programs to help foster some of those partnerships. So we're launching a series in June with our forensic science department. This will just be the beginning. We will be transecting, all the different sectors, but bringing the forensic science faculty and external folks to really share, what is the current state of forensic science? Where are the gaps? And where do you see the field going? These are folks who have been FBI profilers that have solved big cases, right? And bringing together small businesses across different industries. For example, the drones, AI, and others. Students, our general public, to hear that what that need is, and then to be able to ideate as a community to help solve those challenges, and then form teams that then can take on new innovations to really be able to meet the forensic science needs. So that's just one sector. And again, we're going to keep repeating this across different areas because, again, we want to make sure that we are connecting those folks. We have a company, Sophania. He had presented to the International Soft Landing companies this week just to talk about his experiences here. And he is located in Manassas and has a data analytics company, often working with the federal government and now meeting with our local businesses and our faculty to really integrate that data analytics that he's been using for other processes and defense processes into the life sciences. So just an example of how when you bring really smart people together, that it's going to drive new opportunity.
Yeah. Something that I hear is in different research parks and things is we have tenants, but we don't really have a community. And so, I mean, that's a real thing, right? Like there's incubators and research parks and they provide great space. But everything I'm hearing when you talk about, it's not about real estate. It's about everything that goes behind it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really important component, right? When businesses choose to locate somewhere, it goes far beyond the infrastructure, right? You want to be part of a community. You want to be able to connect with peers, and not just peers in your lane, but peers from across different areas that you can really lean on for contacts, lean on for advice, and really, again, collaborate together, because it's those water cooler conversations that happen when you bring people together that, again, drive innovation. I've been asked several times, are you going to offer this online? Or are you going to offer this hybrid? And the answer is always no. Because I know that behind the desk and the computer screen, you're not having those conversations. It's going to move the needle. And so everything that we do, it is to bring people together. And, you don't have to just be in Nexus 234 to join us. Yesterday, we had the pitch event. We brought investors from across the United States, as far as California and Wisconsin. And we had a room with folks from all across the state and region, really excited to meet these companies and connect with one another. And so we really are building a community. And, I think that's really important part of, the field that we're in.
And you bring up a good point, or another good topic to talk about is, in this climate of investment and, the business, what do you hear from investors, or what do you hear from, large corporates on the importance of these innovation districts to kind of what their interests are. Do you have anything you can share on that?
Yeah, so I mean, you touched on part of it, right? The community is something that they're absolutely interested in. And so I had talked to a few of the investors yesterday, and this is exactly the type of area that they are looking for, and the connectivity, right, that's important to them. For the large businesses, it's been interesting. So the Nexus 234 Innovation District really has been developed in deep collaboration with our community. And this is global companies like Micron, BAE Systems, mid-sized companies like ATCC that is headquartered here in our innovation district and has really grown significantly over the years and almost doubling in size. And something that's been consistent among those large businesses really has been the workforce component. Making sure that number one, they can leverage this to attract talent, because also talent wants to come to a place, right, where they have that connectivity, but also being that local place where their workers can drive to gain access to training and programming. Now, this doesn't just have to be courses, right? This can be a lunch and learn. This can be a workshop. Professional societies, so that they can come and again gain access to that, gain access to peers, so that they're always sharpening those skills. And something that I think is really exciting about our area, with the two educational partners, Northern Virginia Community College and George Mason, have really high retention rates. And so I was presenting yesterday, and George Mason has a 85% retention rate. Of students who are graduating and staying in the region, right? Because there's great jobs, because we're connecting them with employers early as well. And Northern Virginia Community College has consistent numbers. Something else that we've heard, and we heard from Becky Bradford from ATCC and others, that the retention rates also of employees that come, right? It's not like Boston where you've got people hopping. The retention rates here are really great. I think that's really due to the high quality of life. And again, really feeling no matter who you are within what level of an organization, that you are that big fish in a small pond. I think it's just a consistent feeling of the people in our community.
Yeah, that's incredible. When I think about how that plays out, for economic development and for ecosystems, almost they evolve in generations, right? So if people are retaining, companies are retaining, founders who fail in their first startup are staying around to succeed in their next, and that's an important equation, right? Like, not everybody's meant to succeed, and most startups don't. But if you're sticking around, those lessons learned, increase the success of the next one. So that retention, I don't know if people talk about that or not as much, but it's a really interesting element to success, I think.
I couldn't agree more. And thinking about that executive level talent with startups, the events that we're offering, right, whether it's an innovation after hours or a lunch and learn, it is a really great opportunity for those executives that are looking for that next opportunity to connect with innovators. Something I think our region doesn't think about, right? We have a very entrepreneurial region, but I don't think a lot of folks are aware that you can license technologies from our incredible academic institutions. Mason has tons of great technologies for licensing, as well as, we live in a region with a ton of great institutions, both DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And so being able to connect with them, connecting with the federal government to find that technology that they really want to bring to market, and having access to bump into those people who are those, generators of that IP, has been fantastic. John Hart is a nice example of that. He has partnered with our colleagues Rumi Veneziano and Parag Chitnis to license a technology and run it through Virginia's new Lab to Launch program. So that fast track, right, to be able to get these products out and into companies with funding to be able to do that. So we want to keep doing that to really grow this region and to, what is going to become next.
Yes, I love that. Entrepreneurism is like a bug I hear, but it's so brutal in those earlier stages. And we're going through some of that ourselves, and it's just so brutal. So, I mean, I can't help but think like, um, what you're setting up is like the infrastructure, so that when you do have those successful entrepreneurs or those executives who want to do it, you can make it a little less brutal in the beginning, right? Because it's hard, but there's a lot of good technology that doesn't make it out because of, some of those early challenges. Um, so I just love the vision you just painted of that, those executives coming back and, you know, looking through the catalog of available technology and going, I'm going to choose this. And then, oh, I'm going to just go to the launch program right here. Like, it's just, that sounds a lot more attractive than some of the typical garage startup imagery you have. Yeah.
Indeed. And, I think something else that's been really beneficial, and want to give big kudos to John Newby at Virginia Bio, is the statewide life science ecosystem that we've created. So we have biohubs across the state. And rather than competing with one another, we are great friends. We have a text group when we have a company that's looking for something, and making sure that we're talking across the state, chatting with Rich Bendis, to look across the region to make sure, again, that companies have what they need when they choose to land here. And yeah, John has been a tremendous supporter, really supporting from the middle, again, making sure that there's not that competition, but we really do collectively move as an ecosystem, which I think has been attractive to the large pharma that has chosen Virginia as well.
Yeah, the business climate, the collaboration. I mean, I see that. I mean, I agree with John. The kudos for him. I mean, I've watched over the past many years as Virginia Bio has really pulled a lot of that together, and the approach that I always feel in Virginia is congenial, like rising tide, like and what I want to commend you for in Virginia is the hubs are far apart,
Mm-hmm.
but the effort is made by a lot of people to go support one another, and I've seen that firsthand. I've been in Virginia at Activation Capital, and when the whole team's heading out to head up to Charlottesville, um, and when Charlottesville come up to Northern Virginia for the bio showcase that the ATC's held, like I see it firsthand, the effort that's made between those hubs, and I want to make just sure that's clear, because that is a very important thing, and I think that's, to your point, AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, Merck, like three big bets of over $10 billion that are betting on the fact that it's going to be easy to do business and grow here.
For sure. And it really does take a community, right? It's because businesses don't care about boundary lines. They don't care about institutions. They need a workforce, right? They need a community that's supportive of them. And so, yeah, it really has been incredible. And, what you see is real relationships. These are not, again, that surface level relationship. Really, it's people who care about one another, care about our state, care about our region. I know Erin Burcham just opened a new lab facility down in Roanoke, so I want to congratulate her. It's amazing. I have a regular call with Activation Capital with Nikolai, just exchange best practices. So yes, it's a great community.
That's great. Well, I actually think that Activation Capital is going to be one of our next guests on the podcast. So I think we're going to do a couple Virginia back-to-back soon. So tune in and support them when they're on, and give them some shares online. But we work with Activation Capital on the recruiting front that helps support some of their recruitment effort, and they're a great group. And to your point, like everyone I meet, like it's authentic relationships that you have, and I think it goes a long way. I'm in a lot of different regions, and I can tell you, just again, I don't play favorites, but I'm just telling you, you guys have really good relationships, people, and community. And the other thing I noticed too is, when you look at VIPC, like there's a lot of people from industry working there, right? It's not, for lack of better terms, bureaucrats and government workers. It's people that have been in the field, built manufacturing operations that are now supporting the economy. And I think that's another interesting thing that I've seen as well.
Agreed. You know, Joe Benavanto is absolutely incredible. He actually serves on our advisory board for the Nexus234 Innovation District, so has helped us from that creation and the Lab to Launch program. So exciting for that to really unlock the potential for businesses in Virginia and just the investors. We had Alex Euler up yesterday as one of the panel judges and want to make sure that we're investing, right, to help these companies grow. I know faculty of mine who, colleagues of mine who have taken advantage of that funding. So yeah, VIPC has been a terrific partner and is a founding partner of the Innovation District as well.
That's great. Well, Amy, as we wrap up here, I want to give you final words. How do you want to leave our audience today, and how can they get involved in Nexus234?
Awesome. Well, I just want to first give a little plug, something that we didn't share when it was published because we didn't want to get our name out. We just did our brand reveal in April. But Real FDI had listed us as the top 10 life science projects in the world. So we're really honored to be named the top 10 along with Research Triangle Park. So we're the two in the United States. So please, I would love for you to see that article and all the great things that's happening there locally, but also invite you to visit our website, nexus234.org. Follow us on social media. That's the best place to really be able to have a great pulse on all the different activities, making sure that you're able to engage in our programming. Would love to talk to companies who would like to connect with students, to mentor capstones, have internships. And again, the entrepreneurs who want to unlock opportunities to set up a new company.
Well, it sounds like an exciting time. Congratulations on the launch and all the work that went into it. Because I know how much work it is. Like being a community builder is not an easy job. Like you said, you wake up and go to sleep thinking about it, and that's what it takes.
It is so rewarding.
Yeah. It might not be easy, but it is. The rewards more than pay for itself. So. But thank you for all you do. I'm excited to get down there and plug in and see some firsthand of everything you're doing. So I'll be following along and looking for the first opportunity I can get. Maybe sounds like some of the soft landing folks will be announced here, in the next several months. So maybe I can come down and be part of that, and we can cover it from BioBuzz.
That would be great. We'll host you for lunch at Nova Live and have you come meet these really terrific companies.
I love it. It sounds like a plan. Well, Amy, happy Friday to you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for sharing everything with us and being part of today's program.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Oh, my pleasure. Look forward to seeing you soon. And for everybody tuning in, make sure you subscribe. As they say, as the young kids say, make sure you smack the like button. But make sure you subscribe. We do this a lot. We're going to have a couple Virginia guests here coming up, so we'll get to dive more into the amazing things happening all across Virginia. And I think the next one is going to be more focused on the Richmond area with Activation Capital. So please tune in for that. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves, and thank you for everybody for tuning in. Amy, we'll see you soon.
All right. Perfect.